All right, welcome back to the TCI studio. We are going to do a special edition of our RecruitCast. While we were over in the indoor facility this morning, breaking news, Clemson picked up a big time commitment. If you saw our coverage after the Tour Champions visit to up to Maryland, see Quincy Orchard play Damascus, I guess 2 weeks ago. Probably saw that coming at some point, but we didn't know it was coming today. Talk about the big commitment Clemson got today.
Damascus, Maryland, center Ryan Linthicum, the #1 offensive center in the country in the 2021 class, according to multiple recruiting services. Like you said, we knew it was only a matter of time before Linthicum pulled the trigger with the Tigers. We felt confident that he would eventually do that, but today was the day that he decided to go ahead and pull the trigger after visiting Clemson on Saturday for the Charlotte game with Brian Breesy. He made the trip with five-star Clemson commit Brian Breesy, his teammate. So he made that trip on Saturday. He received an offer from Clemson in June after competing at the Davos Sweeney camp, and then from that point on, really Clemson emerged as the favorite after extending the offer to him. In late August, he named the top 3 of Clemson, Michigan, and Virginia Tech, but Clemson was, with his connection with Breesy and just with the overall stature of the program right now, he felt that, Clemson was definitely the team to beat, and that proved to be the case.
That's funny. I went up there I don't remember what month, earlier this year, February or whatever, to cover Breesy's announcement. And he and Ryan were hanging out, an hour or so before the announcement. And Breesy actually had on a Michigan sweatshirt, which was, of course, one of Linthicum's, probably his other big finalist. And Linthicum had on Clemson and Breesy had on Michigan. So that was kind of funny. And then he comes out with the commitment, obviously, after visiting this weekend. After Michigan absolutely got curb stomped at Wisconsin. I don't know if that had anything to do with the timing as well. I think it was probably more just due to being on campus, being with Brian, feeling everything you felt this weekend.
Yeah, I think so. He's developed a really good relationship with Coach Caldwell and was able to, as well as Coach Bates and Coach Sweeney, was able to spend time with all 3 of those guys this weekend, kind of reinforced and developed that relationship even more. Like you said, the connection with Breesy, just where Clemson's program is right now, getting a chance to see that in person again. He was at the spring game, but this was his first real game at Death Valley, so he got to experience the atmosphere, and also he got to hang out with some of the Clemson commits, including Sergio Allen and Mitchell Mays. So he really had a good time talking with those guys.
Top of the hill for the
got
team right
go on the top of the hill and developed kind of a bond with the Clemson commits that he got to talk to too. So all in all, I think he really felt comfortable after this trip to Clemson. He initially told us during our Tour Champions visit to Damascus, to Quincy Orchard to see Damascus, that he was eyeing a decision after his upcoming junior season. But I think after getting on campus and experiencing Clemson again, I just think he felt there was no need to wait.
Well, it's a huge get. Obviously, we saw him in camp in June. We're obviously the only Clemson media folks or recruiting folks that have been to see him play in person. Got to do that against a big-time quality opponent a couple of weeks ago. And, we talked about it on our video we did last week, Gavin. Clemson brings in a lot of guys and they convert them to centers. He's a center. He's playing center. He's already got everything down. He's used to making all the line calls.
Yeah.
Physical presence, looked very dominant in the game we saw him a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, he's very physical presence. He's 6'4", 300 pounds. He's got the build. He just looks like a center. Some guys just have that look of being a center. And
if he cuts his hair, will he lose 10 pounds?
Yeah, he could. He's gonna have the hair that rivals Trevor Lawrence. Clemson's all battery. Hair team. You got Linthicum snapping to Lawrence in the future with all that hair. It should be interesting to see. But yeah, 6'4", 300 pounds. He's physical. He's got a nasty kind of streak to him, I think. He's on the field. He's a guy you don't want to have to line up across from, but off the field, he's what Clemson looks for in its recruits. He's a great character kid, very nice kid. He was gracious when doing an interview with us after losing a really tough heartbreaker to Quincy Orchard. He stood there and answered our questions about his recruitment, and just a really good kid all around. A great gift for Clemson. He's going to be a guy that has a chance to come in and compete right away. That's for sure.
And we think that's just a start for the offensive line. Again, last week on the RecruitCast, we talked about how Clemson's setting the table with, it looks like, going to be great offensive line classes in 20 and 21, which would be really good to get those back to back. So we think that's just the start of what's going to be another great offensive line class.
I think so. It's a great way to start in this class. Linthicum He's number 1 center in the country, as we said, and number 122 overall according to 247 composite rankings. Just a little bit more on Linthicum. He, in addition to Maryland and Michigan and Virginia Tech, he had offers from Maryland, LSU, Florida State, Louisville, North Carolina, Ohio State, Pittsburgh. So there was a bunch of big time programs that were after him. But the Tigers, at the end of the day, were just those teams after extending off to him in June at camp. Clemson was the favorite, and they got him, and a great way to start the class, and becomes the 4th overall commit in the class. So Clemson's 2021 class is definitely after a great start.
Another great class coming. All right, well, special day here, big time commitment. We wanted to jump in the studio and give you guys the latest on Clemson's latest commit, Ryan Linthicum. Great young man, as we said, great football player as well. Got to know him a little bit this year, seeing him a couple different times, and he's going to fit in perfectly with the Clemson man that Clemson likes to recruit. So big things ahead for him, big things ahead for Clemson program as they continue to add some of the top prospects in the country. Stay tuned to TCI for the most complete coverage of Clemson football and recruiting.